Hello birders, welcome to episode 1 of my brand new series here on YouTube, Birding from Scratch. I just moved to my brand new home in a new community about 10 hours away from where I used to live, which means we have all new birds, new habitats, and new things to discover. So today's episode 1, is going to be all about backyard birds because I'm still unpacking and backyard birding is kind of the first thing I really want to get to know. So if you're new here, I'm Shayna Cossette and you're watching Shayna Cossette Birding. So like I said, we only moved in about a week ago and I'm mostly just focusing on simple backyard birding, temporary setups with the bird feeders, and figuring out who my backyard residents are. And it's been super exciting because I've already seen some species I didn't normally get back in Stony Rapids, and the birds here are so much more used to people. They're not as flighty. Even as I'm talking now, they're still coming to our temporary bird feeder setup. But I want to give you a little bit of the lowdown of the yard and kind of why I picked this first temporary spot, and then I'll get a little bit more into what we've been seeing so far. So as you can see along this whole fence line here, we have very mature spruce trees, and I've used one of those trees to be set as my feeding tree. So I've got suet and a very big bird feeder, and then just up from, so there is the bird feeder. I have a perennial flower garden, which will be great in the spring and summer for birds to find bird-friendly plants at. And then I've also got my bird bath, and then I had my pole set up there, but it fell over, so I haven't got my pole fully installed yet for the rest of my feeders to hang on. And then opposite the tree on my front deck, we have, of course, the Peck Perk Smart Bird Feeder. So if you guys haven't seen, I have a full tutorial review video on that feeder, and I really like it. And the birds finally just found it today, so I'll be able to include a clip of the birds visiting that feeder. Tyga also loves his new yard. You're gonna have to mind the wind. It's a little breezy today, but my backyard space here also has some potential for bird feeders. We have a berry bush, that red one right there, that has bird edible berries on it. So that will serve as a good winter source for birds who eat berries like the waxwings, etc. But the main reason why I've chosen the front of the house to set up my temporary bird feeding station is for 2 reasons. One, as you can probably tell just from the video, there's way more light in the front yard, which for filming and for pictures is a lot better. But 2, that's my office window, and I like to look at birds while I'm working. So that is our main 2 reasons for setting up the bird feeders where we have. Oh, that's zoomed in. Oh my gosh. Well, you guys just saw the first half of that video on super close up because I didn't realize I had my lens zoomed in. No wonder I was having to hold it so far away from my face. Anyways, what I was saying is that one of the benefits of moving to a new area is that you get to start a new yard list. And so for me, I have a very nice actual bound book that I'm handwriting my yard list out. Of course, any type of listing is not necessary, and for some people it may take the fun out of it, so making a list is totally your choice. But for me, I like keeping a list of just the species I've seen and which date, so I can see how the list changes over the years, which birds come back, which ones I maybe missed on, etc, etc. So I have started making my yard list, and I have seen 10 species while standing in my yard. This does not include herd-only birds. This is only the ones I've actually been able to see with my own eyes, and I have got most of them on camera, so I'll be able to go through what we've seen the first week in our new home so far, except there's one slight mistake, rookie mistake on my part. We had a bird species come in that was actually a new bird for the county, and I filmed it, and I had the video clip on the camera, and I formatted over it, and so it is forever gone to the format void, but that was an evening grosbeak. So if you guys have been paying attention, evening grosbeak are birds that show up here that did not show up at my previous place, and so I was super looking forward to seeing them, especially a male, because they are just such gorgeous birds. This one was a female, so I will still be able to get the first time I see a male on camera, hopefully in the future. But I did lose that footage, so unfortunately I can't show you it visiting my feeder, but I will put in a picture of an evening grosbeak female that we saw up in Stony, the only one I've ever seen in my life before this one that showed up a couple days ago. Outside of that, the birds I've actually been able to see at the feeder so far include black-capped chickadees. These were a staple at most boreal feeders. It was also a staple at my last place. So it was nice to see a familiar bird, but the more exciting one is that I have boreal chickadees visiting my feeder like crazy. And if you guys have watched my previous video, you know boreal chickadees was a little bit of a camera nemesis for me. I was having a hard time actually getting them on camera because where I was living up north, they would not come into my bird feeders hardly ever, and they just seemed to really avoid people. But I have had 2 or 3 come straight into my feeders here, and I'm able to stand on my front porch and take pictures and video of them, so that has been super awesome. Another bird that I saw occasionally while up in my old place was the red-breasted nuthatch, and I only heard it once or twice. I think I heard it possibly on May Big Day this year, but I have a whole like little squad of red-breasted nuthatches, and they chitter chatter and they squabble with each other over the birdseed, and they make the cutest little nasally squeaky toy call, and it brings me so much joy. They're kind of becoming my favorite, I'm not gonna lie. They're so cute, they're tiny, and they make an adorable noise. What more could you want in a bird? Oh my gosh, I'm still filming. There's the boreal right there. Tyga, no, you scared it. Like, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's right there. That's a boreal chickadee. Just hanging out. Being, like, they're so chill. Like, what is this? I'm 2 feet away from it, and it's just hanging out. What I came over to show you before I got distracted by the bird is that I have a double suet feeder hung up on this side of the tree, and then I have a very large basin black oil sunflower seed. If you follow my videos or seen my feeder setups in the past, I almost exclusively run suet and black oil sunflower seeds because that's really all the northern birds ate. I hear a nuthatch again. And so I don't run any other type of seed. I do have a, I'm gonna butcher the name of it, but a Nair seed. It's the tiny like thistle seeds for finches. And so I have a feeder for that, but I've never actually bought the proper seed for it. But I'm thinking in the summer, if I get goldfinches and other small finches, I might be able to actually put it up here and hopefully get some new birds. And so the reason I came to show you the suet feeder is because we already have a pair of hairy woodpeckers showing up to the feeder. We have both males and females showing up, and I've got video clips of each one of them. So once again, if you're unfamiliar, the male hairy woodpeckers have a red spot on their head, while the females are all black and white. Apparently I'm interrupting mealtime. This doesn't feel real. Like, I feel like I could reach out and touch them. This is so cool. I'm so excited to be birding this area and doing this birding from scratch series with you guys. I don't know if you can see that. It was literally just on that suet feeder. Like, it's so close. What is this right now? The chickadees are calling. They don't care. They don't give a flying bleep about me being here. This is so exciting. I'm sorry, I'm literally nerding out over my own backyard birds right now. But this is what birding should be about. It doesn't matter if it's your first species or your 100th species or your 1000th species. Birding should bring you joy. And Never apologize for being a nerd about birds, because they're just cute. Like, look at the little chickadee's just getting his seeds from the feeder, and I'm having a blast, and that's what it's all about. Anyway, so where was I? We have black-capped chickadee, boreal chickadee, hairy woodpecker, red-breasted nuthatch, the evening grosbeak that I accidentally deleted the footage for. We've also had some of your corvid species, so your flyover ravens have visited the yard. I had a black-billed magpie come visit the yard, and then I didn't get it on camera, but I did also see a flyover bald eagle. So that one was really cool as well. Now, for other birds that I've seen, we also had a whole flock of dark-eyed juncos show up. So here in Saskatchewan, we pretty much only get the slate-colored subspecies, are kind of morph of the dark-eyed juncos. Very rarely we'll get an Oregon one, but these are all the slate-colored dark-eyed juncos, which they're all the same species, but they just have different color variations. I'm gonna link a video of my friend Jordan's, who does an amazing breakdown of all the different subspecies and where you can find them, if you're curious about those specifics. But dark-eyed junco was species number 9. And the last species, but certainly not the least, is the Canada jay, aka gray jay, camp robber, whiskey jack. It has lots of different nicknames, but they are of course a boreal staple, and I've had a couple visiting to and from the yard as they're flying around and searching for food. Very typical bird for the boreal forest. So as I mentioned earlier in this video, I did end up moving 10 hours south and about 3 hours east of where I was currently living. And for some of you guys in the States and other areas, that would probably be a completely different category of birds for you guys to find. So you might be surprised by how many I still had in my previous yard. But that is because both these locations are still in the Boreal Shield ecoregion, which is where the boreal forest mixed with rocky outcroppings. So it does have a very similar set of species. However, because I am so much further south, I also get some additional species by being this much closer to southern regions. So some of the winter finches, like our evening grosbeaks and the red-breasted nuthatches, are much more abundant at the southern location than they are in the northern location. I'm also hoping we can get a bit more of the finches, like purple finches potentially, or maybe like a house finch. And so there should be opportunity for a wider diversity of birds because it is so much further south, but at the same time, because it's very similar habitats as to where I was living, we will see a lot of the same birds at the same time, including my favorite, the willow ptarmigan. That is right, even though I moved halfway across the province, I still get my tiny sliver of willow ptarmigan up here. So if you really liked those videos from Stony Rapids, don't worry, they will still be showing up this winter and I will still be going out and getting videos of them. So I hope you enjoyed this very first episode of Birding from Scratch with me. I hope you guys follow along and see how this progresses. I've got lots of really great inspiration and plans for this series, including some photo sets to try to get really good pictures of birds, planting a bird-friendly garden, and just more exploring of the area. So with that, I will see you guys next time. Remember to get out and go birding. Stu from Bird Hikes Ontario, there's your boreal chickadee for you.